Right guys, we might finally have some new information about when we can expect that 5-year £480 million NHS Palantir contract. This has been really anticipated and we've been waiting for what feels like a very long time. Us Palantir investors were expecting to find out if Palantir were awarded the contract on the 28th of September. Then this date came and it passed and we didn't know any new information. However, we were then told that we can expect it by mid-October. It is now the 20th of October and we've still not heard. So just before I share a very interesting article that may give us new insight as to when we can expect to hear, I want to let you know that I am starting a weekly newsletter. It's going to be sent out every Sunday. It's going to include all of that week's most important Palantir and Tesla news and any other relevant information I have, alongside some personal favourites from the week, whether that's podcasts or interviews. So if you want to sign up, it's completely free. I'll leave a link in the description below. So here's the article that I found. It came out 2 days ago, but I've only just seen it today and there's a few different variations going around on the internet. So this says, Quantexa boss says NHS data should be managed by UK company. Now we already know that the British public aren't too pleased with the idea of a US so-called spy company gaining access to the British NHS's data. I'm going to make a whole separate video on how Palantir do not own, nor spy, nor steal data, but we definitely know that it is impacting people's opinion of how good Palantir would be at helping the NHS. So let's just scroll down and see what else we can learn from this article. And of course, this hasn't come straight from Palantir's mouth or the NHS's mouth, so do have to take it with a pinch of salt, but it does get interesting. Quantexa founder and chief executive Vishal, I think that's how you say it, Vishal, advocated that a domestic company with the right intentions should be hired to manage NHS data instead of awarding the contract to an American company. Interesting. I have not really looked into this company very much. I've not even really heard of them until the whole NHS contract really came about. But honestly, he knows that the thing that would stop Palantir getting the contract is very much this skepticism and this concern about it being an American company. And he's used the words, if this is direct from him, right intentions. Personally, I think that Palantir does have the right intentions, but I guess we can very much debate that. So we'll move on from that bit. So his London-based data analytics firm is attempting to strike a deal to link up hospital data where Palantir, a software company with close links to the US defence industry, is a front runner to win the contract. The NHS is looking to integrate computer systems of its hospitals, and a deal is expected by the end of October. Okay, right, now I need to link this all because we were told 28th of September, pretty much a whole month has passed. We were told mid-October. That's kind of been and gone unless we hear about it today, maybe Monday. There's no knowing really because this hasn't come from an official channel. But this article is saying the end of October. And it seems like they've had an interview with maybe this guy and maybe that's come from that interview. I don't really know. However, thinking about the next big thing that's going to happen to Palantir, we've got the earnings. I think they're on the 2nd of November. So this could marry up quite well for Palantir. If it does come out the end of October, or even if they delay it until the same day as the earnings, and it's good, and the earnings are good, so the NHS contract plus the earnings, we'll have to wait and see what sort of reaction the stock has to those catalysts. But this is just me speculating, of course. End of October. I think the thing holding up this contract announcement, and again, this is just me speculating, is that yes, maybe they've already decided that they're going to work with Palantir. And I'm going to touch on a few more things in a minute that actually sort of allude to that being the case, that they will be going with Palantir, that have happened recently. But yeah, I think they might know that they want to go with Palantir, but they're very concerned about announcing that. Because like I said, there's a lot of panic. And I think there will be a little bit of an uproar from the British public that at least know about this or find out. Now also, this has just popped into my head this minute, but we have the autumn statement coming out here in the UK, and that is in November the 22nd. I'll put it on the screen because I can't remember when it's coming out, so it'll be on the screen now. But during that statement, there's a few things in the investing world that we are expecting to hear. One of them is about the fractional shares in our tax-efficient ISA accounts. I'll move past that very quickly because this is a video about Palantir. But also I'm wondering if there could be some sort of announcement in that. And that's how we find out. I don't know, let me know what you think about that in the comments below. But let's just keep having a look at this article here. So then it goes on to say this guy who is recognised for solving financial crime, surveillance and customer insight issues said trust and transparency were at the heart of his company. I think, you could definitely argue that that's the same for Palantir. So keep moving. We come from the right intentions to support what could be a once-in-a-generation data transformation. So, okay, they are quoting him actually, by the looks of it, definitely with the right intentions. They've not quoted the end of October, so, take it with a pinch of salt. But a once-in-a-generation data transformation, I completely agree. I do think this is going to be, it could really shake up and really improve the NHS, as I've spoken about time and time again. Me and Amit actually did a live stream over on his channel, and we spoke about this in a little bit more detail about how Palantir can actually help the NHS and what sort of real life ways it could really impact us in the UK. So do watch that after this video if you're interested. It was a great conversation. While Palantir's software is already in use in some NHS hospitals, we know that they've worked with the NHS before and continue to do so, without naming any company, warned against contracts, basically Palantir, right? Okay, while Palantir's software is already in use in some NHS hospitals, without naming any company, he warned against contracts with a single supplier that risks vendor lock-in. Palantir has worked with the Ukrainian Defence Forces and the UN, blah, blah, blah. We'll talk about that in just a minute. NHS England said it was conducting a fair and transparent procurement process for a supplier of the FDP, in line with public contract regulations, and this process has not yet concluded. That looks to be a direct quote from NHS England, which means that they have not, if this is true, 2 days ago, they had not yet fully concluded that procurement process. So we may actually really be waiting until the end of October, maybe early November even. Okay, so another piece of news that is linking Palantir to the UK in some way, and this helps obviously build momentum that we may end up seeing Palantir get the NHS contract, is this. Eva Square on X, who has really great Palantir information, finds all the links, posted this. UK police are using Palantir's Foundry. Bedfordshire police have gained access to Foundry in recent days, signalling that the UK deems the software necessary for law enforcement, and this police force area covers about 665,000 British citizens. So why am I bringing this up? Well, one, it's just interesting to see what different sectors are utilising Palantir's software, and also it helps to sort of suggest that the UK and their big governmental organisations are actually on board with utilising Palantir's software. So clearly, they don't have the fear that Palantir are stealing data, because they would have access, if that was the case, they would also have access to lots of data, through the police force. So it does help to settle the mind a little bit. And now let's go over to this one. This is a post I put out on X a while ago. When did this come out? On the 10th of October, so 10 days ago. But it's still relevant. And again, it shows that the UK government is not concerned about Palantir and therefore may award the NHS contract. So this was a contract for 6 months for £1.5 million. Not a massive contract that was awarded to Palantir here, but it's more important of what it means. So I said, buyer Neil Widdop seems to be from the Department for Environment, Food and Rural Affairs. He is from that department. But that department, interestingly, is a department of His Majesty's government in the UK. Then I went on to say, and here's the link, please note that the NHS, which is of course the National Health Service, is overseen by the Department of Health and Social Care, which is also one of these departments that fall under His Majesty's government in the UK. Why would a police force in the UK plus another department falling under the government both be okay to work with Palantir, plus the fact that Palantir has already worked with the NHS, okay? They also gave them that big contract not so long ago to help transfer data. So Why would they just be okay with all of that, but not the big NHS contract? Very interesting indeed. And now I want to also draw your attention, and this could be literally just, it could be a coincidence. This may mean absolutely nothing. I just thought that it would be interesting to share. So I was having a look on Palantir's official website today to try and see if any more contracts have been announced and just see what the press releases are. But interestingly, this page is now completely blank. I refreshed it, and we'll do that now in case it's come back. Nope. I did it on different windows, my phone, still completely blank. Normally what we see here is all of the press releases that they've had. Again, may mean nothing at all, but I'm wondering, are they writing a new press release to put up here, or why is it all gone? Maybe it's just the website crashing, I don't really know, but thought I'd share it anyhow. Oh, and also another way that Palantir are working with the UK government is on the Homes for Ukraine programme. Just another contract. So yeah, it really does paint this picture. Right, I want to share with you one last thing before we wrap up the video, and that is this here. This again was from Eich. By the way, follow me on Eich if you haven't already. I post all the time on there. I'm a bit obsessed at the moment. Anyway, this is from someone that works for Palantir. And she said, this week in London, life sciences boot camps using our AI platform. Witnessing pharma and CROs in action at our office, Palantir Tech, using LLMs for unprecedented efficiency gains for old age engineering tasks that used to take weeks to minutes. In the UK, these AIP boot camps are also happening, where basically they allow you to attend for absolutely zero charge, and from 0 to 5 days you go. And from 0 to 5 days you get a use case for AIP. And the idea is that you pretty much walk away wanting AIP. AIP is not yet monetized, and we're going to have to see what happens in the future, but they're building value. They are demonstrating how useful AIP is. And then hopefully in the future, they'll flip on the switch and monetize it, and that will be amazing. I hope you found that helpful. I will continue to endeavor to bring you the most important updates as they happen. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in another one very shortly.